Excuse me, I know you all know me, Chrissy. I'm the vice president of our church council, and I work directly with our preschool. And maybe you're wondering why I'm up here today talking about breast cancer awareness. I am not a breast cancer survivor. I'm dressed a little casual today. I don't have a lot of pink in my closet, but one thing that my family that we do for breast cancer awareness, and it's not just the month of October for my family. Unfortunately, it's something that we think about every day. And so in honor of my sister, her initials are ACE. That's Andrea and myself in the picture. The girls knew her as Aunt Andy. I'm wearing a flamingo, pink flamingo. So that was really her little mascot, her inspiration that she took with her to every chemo appointment, every surgery, every whatever that she was going through. She had this stuffed flamingo that was called Hope, and she carried it with her everywhere. And so we've sort of implemented the pink flamingo that we wear in honor of breast cancer awareness. So let me start over. So I did kind of prepare something to keep me on track here. So I am not a breast cancer survivor, but instead I'm a previvor. So what that means, which you may not know, is that I'm at a predisposed risk for hereditary cancer in my family. So we have the BRCA2 mutation, gene mutation, and my younger sister, Andrea, who is 2 years younger than me, had stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. And because she's not able to tell her story today, I'm going to tell you mine. You know, she never wanted cancer to define her, and it never did, and today I'll do my best to portray that as well. And I really am thankful for the opportunity to be able to speak today. So by living each day to the fullest, I got to do all the things that my sister didn't get to do. I got to get married, have a house, buy a house, have a family. But then she also got to do a lot of things that I didn't get to do, like complete a triathlon, ride her bike over 100 miles to the Keys, ride in Ragbri, which is a bicycle ride across the state of Iowa, travel to New Zealand, surfing, whitewater rafting, and so much more after her cancer diagnosis. It really changed her, and she decided that she would live the life that she was given, go on the adventure, and make a difference in the lives of others. And she was a very faithful woman. She never questioned why her or anything like that. She knew that God had a plan for her, and so she lived her life each day that she could. She was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer at age 28. It was in her breast and in her rib bone. And then her cancer came back shortly after our wedding, which would have been her 3-year cancerversary. Yes, she celebrated every year that she was a survivor. And at that point, it traveled throughout her body. This picture actually was taken in October. Right after her cancer had returned. You can see her short haircut. And Bill and I had lived in New York at the time, and I flew down to Boca to be at this walk with her. And it was something we did every October together. Excuse me. So metastatic breast cancer, there's no cure for. You're really just keeping it at bay. So that's really something hard to live with, to know that you're eventually going to die from this disease. She had so many different regimens with different side effects until 2018, when she became really weak with all over bone pain, and ultimately her body wasn't strong enough for chemo. And in January of 2019, God called her home just a week shy of her 37th birthday. So we missed her very, very much. So just to explain a little bit more about the breast cancer risk as we're doing awareness. So when you have the BRCA2 mutation, everyone has a BRCA gene in their family, and it stands for, the BR stands for breast and the CA stands for cancer. So there's a BRCA1 and a BRCA2 mutation, and everyone has these genes, but some people have them where they're mutated, which can have them eventually lead to causing cancer. So because my sister was diagnosed with the gene, I had a 50% chance of inheriting that same mutation as my sister. So I got tested the same time she did, and I did in fact carry that gene mutation. Right after my sister tested positive. So Bill, I have to say, my husband, he's been here since the beginning of it all, through Andrea's cancer treatments, through her testing, through my testing, and just really been a big support to me during this, during this life-changing information that we received. So during Andrea's initial cancer, after our wedding, we moved to New York, and that's when her cancer returned. So as you can imagine, I was very miserable living in New York City. I'd just gotten married. We had this brand new apartment, and we were looking around, living in the city, living the life. And then I find out 3 weeks later, my sister's cancer returned. And I had left her here. We were her only family. And so my wonderful husband decided he had to do whatever he could do to get us back to Florida, because he knew that that is where I needed to be. And he did that, and he found a job, and we transferred back to Florida. And I got to be with my sister for many more years. And she got to grow up my daughters got to grow up knowing their aunt. So until Andrea's diagnosis, we didn't know that there was a genetic risk in our family. So I encourage all of you to talk about your family history. You may not realize that aunts and uncles or great aunts and uncles or other family members had breast cancer or ovarian cancer in your family, or any other types of heart disease or other conditions as well. There's also, in addition to the breast and ovarian cancer, there's also women are at risk for pancreatic cancers, and even men with this BRCA mutation are at risk for breast cancer, prostate cancer, or pancreatic cancer. So just something to keep in mind. I did surveillance, which means I was monitored for breast cancer for 11 years before having preventative surgeries in 2018, and then also in February of this year. And just to reduce my risk of those cancers and my sense of worry, I know I was on the prayer list many times as I had different biopsies done. When my first breast biopsies was done, after that, I came home and we talked about it as a family, and it was pretty scary and everything was fine. They just monitor you very closely when you have this BRCA gene, because anything that looks abnormal, they want to make sure that it's not cancer. So after that, we had just had Ellie. It was my first test after having Ellie, so going almost a year and a half without being tested or screened. I had to have a biopsy, and then God blessed us with getting pregnant with Aria shortly after that, so that was a blessing. And then we decided our family was complete in 2018, and so I had ovarian surgery at that time. And then just recently in 2020, I had another biopsy, which was really painful and a really emotional experience. And then I decided it was time to have my final preventative surgeries, because I want to be here to live this life. So let's see. So my sister, she celebrated her survivorship annually. She each year being blessed to be here another year on this earth. She never wanted to be treated differently or use the cancer card as an excuse. She lived her life to the fullest and was the most faithful person in our family. One of her favorite Bible verses that I wanted to share with you is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And she was a member here at this church when it was LIMC many years ago. And I just wanted to say that, she was my best friend and really great aunt, daughter, sister, friend. I know some of our members here, like Diane, knew Andrea, and you may have recognized her coming in with us at Christmas Eve or Easter. When she moved to Fort Lauderdale, she transitioned to a church there, but she was a familiar face here during the holidays with us. And I just want to say thank you for letting me share a little bit of my story today.